I think by Acts chapter 8, they are kind of settling in. Maybe for some, they picked it up a little quicker than others. And then for some, they're just now starting to pick it up. That's where I would be. A little slow on the uptake, right? But some of them are starting to realize, hey, man, this Paul guy is coming after us. The priests paid off somebody, lined up somebody to lie for him, like they did with Jesus. And so they paid off somebody to lie for about Stephen. And I think some of them, it's begun to solidify in their head that it's on. If we're gonna be true to our conscience and speak the truth about what we believe about Jesus, we're gonna have to pay for it. And pay for it means, in this case, death, because it says right there that Paul was killing men and women. So,
was he killing them all? Or throwing them in prison, or doing both?
Both.
He dragged them off and put them in prison.
Yeah, verse 3 says, Paul began to destroy the church, going house to house, dragging off men and women and putting them in prison. Those who had been scattered preached the word. Yeah. So I've read elsewhere that he's
killing them.
Yeah.
How come the apostles didn't scatter? I was curious about. They didn't leave. They stood their ground. And I was also curious why Saul didn't go straight for the apostles and kill them. That, being the head of, the top people.
Yeah, they're the reason for it. They're preaching. They're the first ones on the front line preaching the gospel. I don't know. I thought that myself. Why did
you think of how some of the religious leaders, they wanted to kill Jesus, and Jesus was like, it's not my time. It's not my time. That kind of made me think of that. Like, yeah, it just wasn't. It just because God is still like sovereign. So it's like, it just made me think that it just wasn't their time. God still wanted to work regardless of the situation or the hate towards them. But that's just a thought that I had.
I think that's the right thought. I mean, is God not sovereign because I'm going through a hard time?
Yeah.
Is God supposed to make me happy all the time? Is that the gospel, that I'm supposed to be made happy?
Right. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so that's a good question, Alan, and I asked myself that also, and I think Rashawn's got the right answer. The God's still sovereign, even though the bad things happen to us. We can't make God out to be a Twinkie God. He's just soft and sweet and everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I was thinking about that part, just that whole idea as well, but that we can have peace and comfort in the midst of the troubled times. Not that there won't be troubled times.
Because that's what the Holy Spirit is called in Corinthians. He's called the Comforter. That's what Jesus said in John 15. I'm going to send the Comforter